it's Jan back at it again with another nerdy bookish video. This is gonna be the long-awaited Jan-uary book tag. Woo! Oh god. Joey's in the background. I want the bat to show, but I don't want my chair to show. It's January 1st! Jan-uary 1st. Wouldn't it be sick if I were born in January? But alas. So this is the Jan-uary book tag, as I just said. I created this tag last year. I came up with the questions like December of 2021, and it did a lot better than I thought it would. So of course I'm doing it again, and I hope y'all do it again because I loved watching yours. I still have some to watch in my watch later list from last year, but I'll get to them because I did promise that I will watch and comment on everyone who like tags me in their description, so I'll see all of them eventually. So this is more of like a recap of last year slash goals for this year. It's like that type of tag. Also, look at my shirt. It says, and there it goes, my last flying fuck. That's the mood for 2023, everybody. I have to make this quick though because in 30 minutes I gotta do my first of the month reading sprints because it is January 1st, like I said. Happy New Year, everybody. I wish you the best for 2023. Hope our reading goes in our favor because you'll see from this tag and some of these questions that my 2022 was not as successful as I wanted it to be, besides the number of books I read, but whatever. We'll just go right on into it. There are only 10 questions. Then I'll tag some friends at the end, but even if I don't tag you, feel free to do this and tag me so I could see it and watch it and comment and love my life while watching your video. All right, number 1. What was the last and first, if you remember, book that you read last year? The last book I read was Krampus by Brom. I finished it last night. I read this throughout like the entirety of December. I gave it 3 stars. I'll link the cramming December vlog. Oh wait, no, this will be up before then. Damn it. Basically, my thoughts were that this would be better as a novella, I think, in my personal opinion. And I was expecting more like flowery lyrical writing for some reason, because that's what I heard that Slewfoot has. That's the other book by Brom that I own, which I still will read despite not loving this. I was loving it in the beginning, even though it was like a lot more realistic than I thought it was gonna be. It's about this deadbeat dad named Jesse, and he is like trying to get a gift for his kid. His woman, was it his wife? I don't even know. The kid's mom left him for this other guy, and then that guy is trying to like kill him, and he's trying to get revenge and all this shit, and then he crosses paths with Krampus at some point, and then there's like the devilish lore type of thing towards the end, or like about halfway through the book. I don't know, it just took a while to get there, and then it just lost my attention. But that was unfortunately the last book of 2022. I wanted to squeeze in another one so it didn't end on that, but you know, it is what it is. And then the first book that I read last year was These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan. It was a carryover from 2021, and I finished it like the first couple days of January when I first got COVID. Read it during winter ween. This is a fae YA fantasy. It's very tropey, very basic YA fantasy tropes, like a love triangle and betrayals and like this journey and everything, and there's all this shit that goes down, right? But I loved it. For some reason I was like super invested in these characters, and I was just like rooting for one guy one chapter, and then the next chapter I'm rooting for the other guy, and it's a great time. And I knew this was gonna be on my top 10 of 2022, but plot twist, I read the second book and that one kicked this one out. So the whole duology is just phenomenal. That was my first 5-star read of 2022 as well. Number 2, what is your first read this year? This one was kind of a no-brainer because I'm just trying to like finish my current reads, which I did narrow down to just one book. Granted, I did soft DNF a lot of them because I just knew I wouldn't get to them, and I don't want to rush those books like Babel. Don't want to rush that. This one is my only carryover from 2022, The Depths by Nicole L'Esperance. I also answered number 10, which is carryovers from last year that you still plan on finishing this. And this is also my first read of this year. I'm gonna hopefully finish it tomorrow so then I can start my next read, which is Horrid, for my full moon book club. If you didn't know, I run a book club. It's called the Full Moon Book Club. We have our live shows on the full moon of every month unless otherwise announced on my personal Instagram, which is always linked down below. Damn, that's the first time I didn't stutter doing that spiel. Number 3, share 3 of your reading goals this year. I gotta open my new reading journal, which I set up and filmed for my Patreon because I have one of those as well. Here's another little spiel. We're called The Lair. It's vampire themed. The links are down below. It's a fun time over there. We have a Discord. We have monthly readathons, buddy reads, exclusive reading sprints. We get to know each other in the Discord really well. We talk about more than just books. We talk about life in general, fitness, Taylor Swift, caffeine, all the spooky things. It's a fun time. So if the bloodlust is calling to you at this very moment, feel free to join The Lair. I'd highly appreciate you. Okay, so my 3 reading goals. I have 15, but 3 of them, I guess like the main one, you know, the Goodreads reading goal, whatever. Since my goal was 150 last year, although I surpassed it pretty significantly, I just made it 151 this year. Then I want to use my Kindle more, so I'm gonna try to read 1 book via my Kindle every month, at least 1, because I do have Kindle Unlimited. I want to read all the 23 books in my 23 in 2023 list, as well as all the recs from my friends in the 12 recs by 12 friends challenge list. That was messy, I'm sorry. And then the last one, even though this is like, what, 5 goals now, is to read 5 classics, just to get that out there. So I'm voicing it, I'm manifesting it, because last year I wanted to read 1 classic a month and I was like, I knew this was a long shot. I failed in January. So I figured 5 is a solid, you know, happy medium. And I have 2 classics on my 23 books in 2023. So hopefully that's a little bit of motivation. Another source of motivation is the fact that I have 4 copies of Dracula now and haven't read it yet. So there's that. Number 4 is share 3 of your most anticipated titles. Here we go. Here we go. So Hellbent, which comes out on January 10th. I already pre-ordered the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. I also got the Book of the Month edition to match Ninth House. So yeah, it's the sequel to Ninth House, if you were unaware. I read Ninth House for the very first time last year. Absolutely loved it. 5 stars. Not gonna lie, I did forget a lot of it, but am I gonna reread it? Definitely not. Another anticipated release. I have a lot. Okay. She is a Haunting by, I forgot. Someone corrected me on how to say this author's name, and I know I'm gonna butcher it, so I'm just gonna put the cover here. But yeah, She is a Haunting. This got me in a chokehold just by hearing that it's about an Asian final girl, and I was like, yep, exactly. Absolutely gonna get that the day it comes out. I have a list, but I guess I'll say The London Seance Society by Sarah Penner, who's the author of The Lost Apothecary, which holds a very special place in my heart because it was my very first book club pick ever. And this one sounds so good. I'm not a huge fan of the cover, but the synopsis, like I need to pre-order this book. I also want to talk about 2 more, just because I can. Small Worlds by Caleb Azuma Nelson, which comes out in May. This is the author of Open Water, which was on my top 10 of 2022. So if you haven't seen that video yet, I'll link that down below. I don't even know what this is about. I don't even care. I just know I need it. And then lastly, I want to talk about Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. Yes, I haven't finished Babel yet, but I will. But this sounds so good. First of all, I think the cover is so cute. I know it's like a very, like people have polarized opinions on this, but polarizing. Okay, so it takes place in Yale, and there's this author, June Hayward, and then another author, Athena Liu, and they were supposed to be twin, like what are they called? Author duos? Yep, that's the term. Nobody wants stories about basic white girls, June thinks. So when June witnesses Athena's death in a freak accident, she acts on impulse. She steals Athena's just finished masterpiece, an experimental novel about the unsung contributions of Chinese laborers to the British and French war efforts during World War I. It sounds so good. With its totally immersive first-person voice, Yellowface takes on questions of diversity, racism, and cultural appropriation, not only in the publishing industry, but the persistent erasure of Asian American voices in history by Western white society. R.F. Kuang's novel is timely, razor-sharp, and eminently readable. That just sounds so good, especially written by R.F. Kuang. Like, she is one of the most intelligent authors. This one comes out in May, I think. Number 5, which goals did you reach or not reach last year? I mean, the list that'll go by faster is for the goals I did reach, because listen, out of the 9 reading goals I had last year, I hit 2 of them. 2 of them. That's so embarrassing. So number 1, I hit read 150 books. I actually read 218. That's the most I've read ever in a year. So that was exciting. And then I also fulfilled my read 1 nonfiction a month goal, which I'm doing again this year because I love reading nonfiction. I just don't like prioritize it. So this way I have that on paper and then I can cross it off and it's satisfying. But yeah, I guess I'll read the other ones and expose myself. So I did not keep my TBRs to 10 books a month because I get carried away. But now, this year, I think I'm gonna try to do that again, but just for the TBR videos, so that like in my head and like on paper somewhere else, I have like the books that I like are my hopefuls, but for my TBR videos, I'm just gonna like voice 10 of them, so then I'm not feeling like a failure. every month, you know? Participate in Buzzwordathon, which I want to do this year again as well. Buzzwordathon is Books and Lala's annual reading challenge, where she picks like a word or phrase that you find in titles of the books that you want to read for this challenge. She's like super flexible about it. Like you could read one book a month that fulfills the buzzword, or like do like a week of just reading books that fit the buzzword, things like that. I usually just read one per month, but failed at that too. Already said I didn't read one classic a month. I wanted to do like artsy journal spreads for my best book of the month every month, because usually it's like I love the vibes, but yeah, I didn't do that. Buying one book for every 5 I read from my physical TBR. Definitely lost control in like February for that one. And I also wanted to read one 500+ page book a month, which didn't happen. All right, enough of that. Now I feel like shit all over again. Thank you. Number 6, are there new releases this year you've heard of that you have no desire to read? The first one that came to mind was, is it called Foxglove? The sequel to Belladonna, because Belladonna was one of the most disappointing books. I am not interested in this fucking sequel. I'm so annoyed by that book. I can't even, we're moving on. Number 7, what are some reading habits you want to change this year, if any? Ideally, I want to like start DNFing more, but we all know that's not gonna happen because I have
want to?
Like DNFing without guilt.
Oh.
If you're new here, my thing is, if I like spent money on it, so if I own it, or if it was given to me as a gift, I'm a sentimental bitch, so I'm going to read those books, whether I hate my life throughout the entire thing or not. I might soft DNF and then pick it back up like a year later, but I'm going to finish them. I feel less bad about like library books or audiobooks, but still, like I'm so bad at DNFing books. I don't know. I guess the way I could answer this is all the goals that I failed at last year, I want to try again. Minus the spending one, because I'm like, that's just depriving happiness at that point, so we don't need to go into that. Number 8, are there any adaptations you're excited about? Not really. Oh wait, I lied. I don't know if it's coming out this year though, and I don't even know what platform it is or anything. I just know Simu Liu is in it, and it's for the adaptation of One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid. You guys, you know how I feel about Taylor Jenkins Reid's backlist, and the fact that one of my favorite actors of all time is gonna be one of the love interests, sold. I don't care where. I will fucking get a new subscription to whatever platform it is just to watch that movie. But other than that, I can't really think of any other adaptations. When is Addie LaRue coming out? I don't know. Is it out yet? I don't know. Daisy Jones and the Six, when does that come out? Number 9.
All right.
Number 9, favorite bookish memory of last year. I met a lot of booktube besties last year, so I'm gonna name a couple. But I think the first one that comes to mind, because it's the most recent, my trip to New Jersey to visit Cami from Bros and Books. And then I also met Christina from Christina's Chapters, Renee from Reading with Renee, Kat from Booktube Beginnings. We went to like Princeton and stuff. I'll link that vlog down below. It was super fun. Why do I feel like I'm forgetting someone? Kasey from Kasey Can Read was there, but I already met her at Sid's wedding. Sid from Sid Bookworm, who I also met in April last year for the first time, and then she invited me to her wedding along with Kasey from Kasey Can Read and Daryan from Daryan Reads. They're just such sweet human beings. And then I also, like earlier in the year, I went to a Mayday Parade concert with Hannah from Hannah's Recent Reads right before I left to go to Georgia to meet Sarah from Sarah Shelves, and we stayed at a cabin for the first time ever. It was both our first time at a cabin. Such a good time. Wow. So basically every time I meet and hang out with booktube besties, those are my favorite bookish memories of the year. Also starting my Patreon, that was exciting and a lot more successful than I thought. Also with my full moon readathon, a lot more successful than I thought. Imposter syndrome is a trend in my life, if y'all couldn't tell. It took a lot to like actually do all those things. I'm happy I did though. I have plans that are like similar for this year, which is also fucking terrifying, but stay tuned, I guess. But yeah, full moon readathon will definitely be happening this year again in August. Is that the question? No, it's not. Okay, moving on. Last question. Oh, I already answered this. Carryovers from last year that you still plan on finishing. The Depths, as well as like many, if not all, the books I soft DNF'd from my current reads last year, like Babel and Hunting Prince Dracula. So yeah, that is all. People I'm tagging. I am gonna tag Sid from Sid Bookworm, Daryan from Daryan Reads, Hannah from Hannah's Recent Reads, Cami from Bros and Books, Renee from Reading with Renee, Noelle from Noelle 7 Pages, the Roomies from the Roomies Digest. Let's do Bree from Locked Booktition. Like I said, even if I didn't tag you, or if you aren't tagged by anyone for this video, I mean, January doesn't last forever, so go ahead and just do it. And don't forget to tag me in your descriptions so I can see it, because they make me happy. If you made it to the end of this video, let's just put the bat emoji in the comments down below because of my shirt and because, you know, bats are kind of part of my brand. And I think this is going to be the first video of 2023 because I'm planning on uploading this tomorrow. Beautiful. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much in advance if you're about to do this tag. It means the world to me. Hope y'all had a great day. Happy New Year once again. Stay safe, stay positive, and stay spooky always. And I'll see y'all in my next one. Bye!